Well, if our doctors and our advisors want us to trust them, man, this is definitely not the way to go about it. So here in Canada, we have approved the AstraZeneca vaccine, the one in the United States that still hasn't been approved there yet. But so now we have 4 vaccines approved here in Canada, and one of them that we've been rolling out into our pharmacies is the AstraZeneca vaccine. And at first, when we rolled out this vaccine, they said that we should not be giving it to anybody over a certain age. We didn't do enough tests with this in our trial system, so let's give it to everybody under the age of 50, under the age of 55. Okay. Then it flip-flopped around. And then it became we should only give it to people over the age of 55. Because they found some problems with younger people, some blood clots developing, especially in women who were pregnant. So they started doing that then. So people were going, okay, well, which is it? Is it older people are safer, younger people are safer? Which one is it? And then they said, you know what? It's safe for everybody over the age of 30 now. So they flip-flopped and flip-flopped again. So now it's changed again. So people are going, and our health officials in Canada have come out and said, when people are saying, well, which vaccine is best? Which one should I take? Which one should I go for? They said, take whichever one you're available to get. Because, if they were only putting Pfizer out at the vaccination centers and pharmacies were getting AstraZeneca, and it's going to different places. So whichever one you're eligible to sign up for it and get it as soon as possible, because that's the way to go. They're all perfectly good. They're all perfectly safe. Go ahead and do it. Sounds okay. Now we have a firm commitment from Health Canada. This is what we're supposed to do. In Canada, we also have something called NACI, which is the National Associated Institute on Vaccinations. Immunization, it's called. And they just came out yesterday, or the day before. And during a press conference, they said, well, you should make your own mind up, and you should make up your own choice. If it were up to us, we would say the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, those are the ones are preferred. You should get that one. Now, people, we've given out millions of doses of AstraZeneca vaccine because Health Canada said take whichever one comes first, they're all just as good. And now the Advisory Council of Canada has come out and said, you know what? Yeah, they're good, but the best ones are these ones. These are the ones you should take. So you should they even came out and said, it's a personal choice for you whether to wait, if you're offered AstraZeneca vaccine, to wait for one of the other two. So if you're one of those people who listened to Health Canada and went out and got a vaccine and you got AstraZeneca, you can't switch it around now. You can't go and say, well, I want one of Pfizer, I want to start over again. It doesn't work that way. So people are freaking out, and rightly so. The message out there, to try and get out of the pandemic, should be, hey, everybody, get your vaccine if you are eligible to get it. And not, this vaccine is better than that vaccine, and that vaccine works better in this condition, and that vaccine is this. So pick and choose your vaccines. For God's sake, Canada's in enough mess right now with our vaccine rollout, being one of the most pathetic in the world, let alone in North America. And now we're having 2 different advisory, one health official, one advisory on immunization, both contradicting each other. One says take whichever one comes available. The other one saying, well, maybe you should wait for the other one because it's a preferred vaccine. So now people are waking up here in Canada saying, okay, I only want Pfizer and Moderna now. So United States, you know, those millions of doses you're about to send us of AstraZeneca vaccine, you might as well not send them, I guess, because we've just told Canadians that it's not as good a vaccine. It's not the right one to use. You should wait for the other ones. And we just prolonged the pandemic here in Canada, who knows how long, if people start taking that advice and waiting for only the 2 vaccines instead of the 4 that are available. Because can you only imagine now that a slow, pathetic rollout that we already have here in Canada of less than, we're still only at, I think, just barely at 3% of our population has had both doses. Barely at 3%. So it's not going good. As much as they tout that it's going good, it's not going good. We should have been out of this a long time ago. It's been 5 months, and we still only have 3% of our population fully immunized. And now they've come out and said, wait for the other ones. Oh, great. So let's slow down the process even more. Maybe, just maybe, they might want to consider having one message out there from our health officials. And maybe the government of Canada should go to NACI and say, okay, you're not making public statements anymore. You're talking to us and that's it. That's all. You're not making press releases. You're not talking to the media. You're not holding press conferences. You're keeping quiet. And let the health officials who are supposedly running everything come out with one statement. And if we come out with that one statement that Pfizer and Moderna are the preferred ones and you should wait for it, then make it policy. But right now, Canadians have woken up to, yeah, the vaccine we gave you, well, it might not be as good, everybody. It just might not be as good. Sorry about that. Sorry, I know it's been 5 months. I know we're in a pandemic. I know we're still in lockdown. You can't travel from one province to the other. There's thousands of cases a day. 5,000 people came in by flights in the last 10 weeks, all testing positive for COVID. We know all that, but you know what? We looked at it and we think that the vaccine we gave you is not a good one. But oopsie. Oopsie, everybody. Oopsie. We made an oopsie. Talk about instilling non-confidence in everything out there by doing stuff like this. It boggles the mind why you would come out and say that ever during the middle of a pandemic. You can think it. Should you recommend it? If you're just an advisory council, no. And you definitely don't hold it out at a press conference instead of just telling the government officials who you are advising. That's your job, to advise them, not to advise the media, not to advise CBC and CTV News. It's to advise the government on their procedures, and they make the decisions from that point on. Wow. Talk about a colossal cluster. It really is. And that's all people are talking about today when it comes to vaccines. And I guarantee you, when people are calling about signing up for vaccines now, they're saying, which one is it? No, I don't want that one now. NACI told me it's not as good.